everybody keeps saying like Web3 gaming, but Web3 gaming and the people in crypto are not your traditional players in a game. And they're more speculators and they're investors, right? Everybody wants to spend a little bit of money and make some more money.
Hello there, everyone. It's me again, Regina, and welcome back for another Web3 Gaming interview. And today we've got a very special guest as we are chatting with one of the amazing developer, even the co-founder behind the game Moku. So as we interview him and as we interview their co-founder, we will unlock or see how this game is changing the way we play, earn, and connect into the world of Web3. So stick around. Let's start. Okay, how are you, Hantao? It's nice to see you.
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
Perfect. Yeah. So before we start talking with your game, could you please introduce first yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Hantao, one of the co-founders at Moku, and we are a Web3 development studio.
Okay. So Hantao, I'm intrigued how you sync or started into the world of Web3 gaming. So before jumping to the Web3 game or developing the Web3, this game, Moku, what's your background?
Yeah, so before crypto, I was primarily doing gaming, traditional gaming, so like esports, a lot of creators and influencers. So I managed a lot of the top talent that were featured on YouTube, Rewind, Mr. Beast Rewind, and then had my own esports team, sold it through merger and acquisition. And then one of my friends at Twitch were the ones that was like, hey, Hantao, you got to get into Axie Infinity because that's the game that was blowing up at that time.
Wow. So are you one of the starter player of Axie? So you're part of the craze way back 2017 or 18, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it wasn't that early, but I did join, and then a lot of my co-founders, they were running guilds at the time, and so I joined as a co-founder for Moku, and then we started building more products instead of running a guild.
Oh, I see. Okay. So as I dive to this game, I'm seeing similar um, format as Axie Infinity to this Moku game. Okay, so we will start talking with the game now. For those new to Web3, how would you describe Moku in simple terms? What makes this game different from traditional gaming or Web2
Yeah,
games?
yeah, sure. So we've been building in crypto for about 4 years now, and we've always been distribution first. So we built a lot of products around distribution and bringing games to market. We've brought a lot of them, including Pixels. I know that you guys talked to Pixels as well, and Luke from there. So we helped a lot of the games go to market. And the way that I would describe what we're building at Moku, which is called Grand Arena, is daily fantasy. So it's not particularly close to a game as much as it is to daily fantasy sports.
So, I believe this before creating Moku, you're behind the big names of Web3 games. Is that correct?
Yeah, we brought a lot of them to market. We didn't help them like make the games or anything, but we pushed a lot of users. We helped them with like their token launches, NFT mints, and also just getting players into their game. When Pixels was first migrating to Ronin, I think they had a couple thousand daily active users on Polygon, and then
Yeah,
once they came to Ronin, their first day had about 8,000 DAU, if I remember correctly. And
yeah,
then it slowly like started going up to 30 and then 100, and then they reached over 1 million as well.
yeah. I see. So this is because you guys have the guilds.
We just built a lot of products to help Ronin distribute games, so we're part of their publishing stack.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we've helped do a lot of their, like, we ran the Ronin Creator Program when it first started, which is called the Axie Creator Program back then. And then we built a lot of tooling to support those things. So like we built data, we built questing. And so throughout all of those experiences, that's why we decided to build Grand Arena.
I see. So with your background, I think we have a strong foundation with this game Moku. So as what you mentioned a while ago, is that fantasy game.
Yeah, it's closer to daily fantasy sports. So there's two main components to Grand Arena. One is the daily fantasy, where you have cards and you can own those cards, trade those cards, and those cards represent the athletes in the game, which are Moki NFTs, our own collection to start with. But
Mm-hmm.
those characters are playing in the game using AI reinforcement learning
Yeah.
24/7. So essentially, players can play this game 24/7 as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So you mentioned Grand Arena. So Moku started with several projects, as what you mentioned a while ago. So before focusing to Grand Arena, right? So what inspired that pivot, and what lessons did you learn from earlier experiments like Moku questing, the Theta meme?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so there was a couple realizations that we got, which is like the first thing. Everybody keeps saying like Web3 gaming, but Web3 gaming is a little bit different than what traditional gaming is because that's kind of where I came from. But Web3
Mm-hmm.
gaming and the people in crypto are not your traditional players in a game. And they're more speculators and they're investors, right? Everybody wants to spend a little bit of money and make some more money. And so a lot of that thesis of speculation and being able to hyper financialize a product, more like game five versus just a game, is one of the reasons we built Grand Arena. And then on the AI side, the reason we did that was because even on like TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, you see a lot of AI content. Like with the release of Sora, um, you see content that's so realistic now that it's hard to tell if it's even real. And I think in the next few years, we'll just have more and more content that'll be outputted automatically. And it's going to be really hard. So might as well lean into that and allow people in crypto to speculate over it.
So you mentioned also a while ago that you guys integrated the AI, like the Mokis, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Grand Arena introduced AI-driven Mokis that Butler auto- autonomously, right? So how does this feature influence the players, and what makes this Moki feel unique instead of repetitively?
Yeah. So the user experience for how they interact with the AIs is very simple because right now we've seen a lot of like AI agents in Web3 and a lot of vibe coding and other things, but it's actually really hard to utilize AI for normal people, right? For normal people, you just want to consume content, you don't want to make content. So the way that we're introducing that is very simple, and it's just you pick a stat for the character you want to upgrade, and you choose how you want to upgrade it. It's that, and that's it, and it'll automatically do everything and train. And the reason why it's a little bit different is because when we look at all of the games that exist or have been created for crypto, have just been close to Web2 games, right? And the way that we look at it is like, I don't think people actually want to play games in Web3 as much as they want to speculate and financialize within those games. Because when we even look at Axie, I think a lot of people can say like Axie wasn't the best made game. It was a trading card game, and you had collectible characters and a really great IP. But a lot of the reasons it drove to where it was because people were earning, people were spending money, and people were able to like um, utilize the finances within the game super fast.
Yeah, correct. I remember when I interviewed one Axie Infinity player, and then he mentioned that he's a avid player since his childhood, and then it's blends with the earning. That's why he focused with the Web3 games. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really amazing that people get crazy, especially the gamers, the Web2 gamers that are transitioning to Web3 games now. Okay. Could you please tell us more background about the Mokis? Your 24. You mentioned a 24/7 AI. Is it offline, online only?
Yeah, so the Mokis are based on NFTs. So there's 8,887 of them, and they will play the game that we created automatically. But in the future, I think where a lot of the uniqueness and non-repetitiveness will come from us creating new experiences and games for those AI to play in. Because right now we're just going to be launching with one, which is a three ways to win game. But in the future, we're going to have different types of like sports genre games, other style of games, so that they can also play in those games as well. But essentially, all of the Mokis are going to be playing 24/7, and then the player can train them.
So Mokis or this AI NFTs are online only, available online.
Yeah, they're on chain, but the AI will be for the Grand Arena stack, and then they'll have different games and experiences that they can play in all the time.
Oh, I see. I think this is amazing. Yeah. My next question, Hantao. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So Moku features pay to join model. Is that true?
So there's a lot of names and stuff for things that exist in crypto, like play to earn, play and earn, risk to earn. I'm not really a big person on like naming things, but essentially it's just like normal daily fantasy. You need characters, which are cards in our game, so you can trade the cards, and that's how we're utilizing crypto a little bit because there's some ownership elements, royalty elements, and then in terms of the like pay to join, you're paying like a couple bucks to join a contest, which is a daily fantasy contest. You'll be playing against other people on a leaderboard and getting points, and then the payout will be based on some of the entry fees that are put into that.
Okay. I honestly haven't played the game. I apologize for that, Hantao. But could you please, since I'm one of the beginner wanting to play with the Moku, so as I'm imagining it, is it like X Infinity that I need first to buy the NFT before starting to join or play the whole game?
Yeah, so the easiest way to play the game is on the daily fantasy side. We're running a pre-sale tomorrow, but basically to get a lineup, it'll probably cost, I would say, between $2 to $3 to get a lineup to get started, and then you can just, depending on what type of contest you want to join, maybe it's like a $1, $2, $5 contest, and then you can choose that. So to get started, it'll probably cost like $6. So right now, that's why we're starting with primarily crypto people first, because they already understand what they need to do to enter these type of games. But once we expand it, we might have like, oh, you can get your first free pack to try it out, and then you can enter into a free contest to try out the game. So there'll be different things like that in the future, but right now we're primarily focused on the crypto users.
Wow. Honestly, this is my first time hearing that the game developed for, especially for Web3 gamers. Unlike before that, for those people or games that I already interviewed, they really started up with the people don't have any background with the crypto, and along the way, they let the user know how the Web3 works. But yeah, I think you guys have a good entry point there. Okay, so also Hantao, you mentioned that the pay to join. So my next question here is, how do you guys balance entry cost with reaching a wider audience for both Web 2 or Web 3 games?
Yeah. So in terms of entry cost, like I mentioned, I think it's probably only going to cost like $5 to get started. But the way that I look at it is like in terms of balance, people in Web 2 are used to playing a game and then they can just play for free, right? But the thing that I would say is that people in like traditional gamers or traditional people, they already have some exposure to crypto, because if you look at the major content creators on Twitch or YouTube, for example, a lot of them do own crypto, or a lot of them have played in online casinos, or they played in online betting things, and they use like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other tokens, so they have exposure to it, but they just haven't had the reason to utilize that yet. And then the other people who are like total normies, right? Like I have never used a wallet before or whatever. Um, we already guaranteed a $1 million prize pool for season one. So I think if it's worthwhile for people, they will jump through those hoops to onboard their friends and family in order to play. Because what we saw with Axie was like it was not easy back then to start on Axie. It was very expensive, but because of their ability to like earn some rewards, play a game, and financialize, they actually made a wallet, got on an exchange, bought assets. Like they did everything that was like super, super difficult. So I think it depends on the type of person that will onboard, but we do have plans for different types of users.
Yeah, I'm honestly excited with how the Moku will evolve sooner or later. Yeah, but thank you for that insight, Hantao. I also remember the way back the Axie Infinity boom out here in the Philippines. We started because I have lots of friends being crazy with the Axie Infinity. Before we just took it as like a survival mode because it's pandemic and lots of people don't have earning been canceled by earning money because there's no way to go outside. Yeah, and X Infinity giveaway. So I'm looking forward that Moku will be as big as X Infinity in the future. Okay, so earlier you mentioned Hantao that you also help the pixels growing their daily active users. So I think this question might be suited to you because you guys you have a good foundation of background. Okay, so this is in line with the retention. So many Web3 games struggle to keep players engaged after the launch. So what retention mechanics you guys build into Moku to keep the experience fresh and enjoyable?
Yeah, I mean, I think retention is just like a critical issue for crypto in general. When we look across the board, like people migrate to one narrative to the other super, super fast. One week it was football.fun, and then another week it was um, yapping or like everything was over for InfoFi. And now this week, everybody is gambling on Chinese meme coins. And so I think retention is just like a issue in crypto no matter what, because they'll just go to the most positive EV thing that they can go to because everybody wants to make money in this space, right? And the way that we're looking at it is like, if we can create a ecosystem and network that can generate enough revenue where we can sustain future seasons, and we can also have the ability to actually give returns to players that perform well or participate in the ecosystem heavily, then we'll have more longevity because people will always chase the highest ROI thing. So our plan is essentially just like the more money we can make, the more players that will participate in the ecosystem, the more that we can sustain future games, future experiences, and future prize pools as well.
So if ever you guys earned a lot, what percentage you will provide to the user's experience or developing the game more? It's like because if I'm not mistaken, one developer mentioned that like 60% for advertising, something like that. So on your end, how do you utilize this earnings?
Yeah, so the ecosystem for Grand Arena is essentially like depending on what you're spending on, there's different percentages. And some of those percentages will go back to the asset holders. Some of those will go to contest winners. So there's a lot of like royalties within the ecosystem. There's a lot of ways to quote unquote pump your own bags. And a lot of those fees also go into making the prize pool bigger. So as more people buy cards, enter contests, train, the prize pool will get bigger and bigger through time. So maybe at the end of the season, it won't just be $1 million. It could be like 2, 3 million or more, depending on how many people use it. And we also take some revenue from our side as well, so that can sustain operations and also help fund future experiences and seasons.
Yeah, exciting. And yeah, it's a I think it's a good news to the people who are playing the Moku. That's a great tip from our co-founder Hantao. Okay, Hantao, I think I have last two questions on my end. So my next question is, with Moku combining gaming AI, where do you see the platform evolving in the next 2 to 3 years? And do you aim to be more game studio, launcher, or something entirely new?
Yeah, so our main goal is two parts. So, number one, we want to change how daily fantasy is played because right now it's very simplistic in terms of, hey, you pick the players that you want and then you enter in and then you just wait for an outcome. We want to make an experience that's always on 24/7, and that way it's not limited by like time zones, not limited by the athletes that are playing or when seasons for certain sports are, right? Like you can't have daily fantasy for certain leagues because they don't happen during certain times. And so our goal is essentially to make a 24/7 daily fantasy platform.
So, you also have this 24/7 platform, right? If ever. I think you already launched that feature, hands out.
It's going to be launched probably in November sometime. Right now, we're going through the
Uh,
stages of it. So we're going to do our pre-sale, and then we're going to do a pre-season where people can train their athletes, and then this first season will start. And one season will last about 3 months.
okay, so you clarified the retention, how important it is, and we also have another aspect like support. How what support or how strong your team support in terms like you guys have a downtime with the platform.
Yeah, so we will be running seasons. So they're going to be happening every 3 months. And then between seasons, there'll probably be like some off time for maybe like a week or two, so that people can kind of reset and the next season can start. But generally, once we get it going, it should be on 24/7 because it's not going to be limited by the platform itself, but by how many games can be played by the AI, how many experiences there are, and how many things that people can play daily fantasy over.
Okay. So my last question here now, Hantao. Web3 gaming is evolving fast. So from your perspective, what's one big misconception about it, about the Web3, and that you'd like to correct for players or even for the developers who are watching us today?
Yeah, I would say it's mainly on the developer side. I think like users will behave how they will be and have been. And that's just like you would never market a game to somebody who's investing in like Apple stock or Tesla stock, right? They're not gamers. They're people who want to invest in a stock, speculate, and make money and make a return, right? And I think a big misconception in this space is a lot of people are building traditional games and they're not building for a specific audience, right? Like if you want to build a product for crypto, you have to build a product for people who want to make money. If you want to build a game using crypto for Web2 players, that's okay. But a lot of the developers are marketing to the wrong people or they're building the wrong product for the wrong people. So I think it's just knowing and understanding like who you want to have as a player or a user of your product is really misconceived in this space.
Yeah, at least as you were speaking a while ago, it seems that you guys have this focus with who are your users. Just like what you mentioned, you're targeting with the Web3 gamer first, Web3 gamers first, and then alongside you will go to open for new players that don't have experience with the crypto.
Yeah, we're gonna go for crypto users first, and then maybe like daily fantasy players next, who are used to playing daily fantasy, and then we'll see how far we can get.
Yeah, exciting. Okay, Hansel, the floor is yours. If ever for the users haven't tried the game, where we will gonna check out the game and your social media accounts?
Yeah, my Twitter is at Hantao. And for most of the information that we're posting about the game, updates, and everything like that, you can just go to the MOKU underscore HQ, Moku HQ page on Twitter, and we'll have all of the information and updates on there.
Thank you so much, Hantao. By the way, what's the inspiration of Moku? Why the name Moku? And with yeah, just like personal intrigue.
Yeah, we came up with a name because Moku Moku is like the sound of building something, essentially like getting bigger and growing and building up. And Moku was just a very simplistic word, and it fit really well with our IP and character as well. So
Yeah, and also when you mentioned Moku, it's really not. It is easily to what do you call this, retain to our minds. Unlike with the long names.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Hantal, for your time and giving us the insights how Moku works, what's the upcoming features. And for our viewers, please stay tuned for more Web3 gaming interviews like this as we will dive deep with developers, how they contribute for the Web3 world.